And go.
Hey, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and you're spending the day with family, friends, and loved ones. You're surrounded by love and you take some time to be thankful or show thanks today. It's a great American holiday, one of my favorites. So happy Thanksgiving. But before we start our Thanksgiving, we have chose violence today. No, I'm not. I'm being funny, but we're talking about Andrew Tate. And as you guys know, we have some very opinionated and pretty strong opinions of Andrew Tate, some good, some bad. So I think you guys will be surprised. But we're going to dig into his interview with Piers Morgan, specifically talking about the comments they made or he made surrounding relationships, marriage, women, male female dynamics, and things like that. So stay tuned. It's coming right next. Enemy territory here. Hello, hello, hello. It's not Wednesday, it's actually Thursday, but it's still time for Pop and Politics. We are talking about the latest in hot topics, news, and entertainment. I'm KJ, and let me introduce you to my co host. All right, again, we have Yana, we have Crystal, and Shelly E.
Hi,
All
happy
right.
Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope you guys are sitting and watching us maybe with a cup of eggnog or coffee or your favorite drink and a slice of sweet potato pie. I've already started digging into the pie, so
I know.
Hold on. For the whites, pumpkin pie.
so crazy. Yes, well, whatever you have, dig in. We're gonna be your dessert. We're gonna be your sweet spot for today. So
I don't know, KJ. That's for private. That's for bedroom.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, before we get into this, I always say join the conversation by leaving a comment on YouTube or Twitter. We will check the comments periodically throughout the show. And don't just comment, subscribe. Subscribe to our social media so you always know when we post new content. If you miss a YouTube special we have, you can always check us out on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can listen to us while you drive or while you are cooking your Thanksgiving dinner. Take a listen to us that way. And Rumble. We are on Rumble also, so check us out there. We are an independent media, and each time you subscribe, it helps to make our voice that much stronger. As I always say, we are a necessary voice in news and entertainment. You can also check us out on our website at www.popandpoliticslive.com for up-to-date information. Guys, I haven't even said this to the host, but we have some big things coming in the new year. Just got some huge information. And we're gonna be have some great things coming. So you guys got to get on while you can, subscribe, check us out on all of our social medias, and you guys have helped launch us to great heights. So thank you so much. All right, ladies, let's set it off. All right, so we're getting into it. Before we get into Andrew Tate, are you guys ready for Thanksgiving? How's everybody's mood right now?
So ready. I love Thanksgiving. It's one of my favorite holidays because, not only the food, you don't have to bring any gifts. You don't go broke. and you just get to spend time with family and friends and get stuffed. I love it.
Yep.
I'm just happy to have time off.
Yeah.
I love Thanksgiving. One of my favorites too. Yeah. Along with the patriotic holidays, Thanksgiving is up there at the top with the 4th and the Veterans Day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, same here. I just like getting together with family and friends. That's like one of my favorite times of the year. This time of the year is one of my favorite. Just when starting at Thanksgiving and right up until the new year is a really great time. And I know it's tough for some people. So although this is a great time, people get together with family and friends, it's actually the highest time of people with suicide, dealing with depression and things like that. So we do, thinking about you, and we hope that you can come with us. And
yeah, can I add a little? Not a little bit. Can I add something to that? What you just said,
please,
just for our audience. Again, these are really good times, celebratory times, family and friends. But I would just encourage you, if you know someone, one of the best ways that you can get maybe out of your depression a little bit is to connect with someone. Yeah. Connect with someone. I don't know, go to have coffee, meet a friend, whomever. Just connect, and not just on social media. I'm talking about real face-to-face connection, touching, hugging. All of that is important.
And the best
mental health, your spiritual health, those things are important. So get out of quote unquote yourself. I'm not minimizing depression, but get out of yourself a little bit, get out of the house and actually meet someone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to add, the best way to help yourself is to help someone. So if you feel down, there are other people that might need even more help. So there's always ways to connect.
Yeah, right. Denzel Washington says the most selfish thing you can do is to do something for someone else because you feel better.
Yeah. Good. And believe it or not, a lot of people are feeling that way. More people than you think, I should say. So you may be thinking that you're trying to get out of your rut, or you're trying to help yourself, and the person you have reached out to is happy that you did, and they may have been feeling the same way. So definitely.
Well, they say misery loves company. So.
Right.
Exactly. And then in a world where they're teaching you to be more selfish and to focus on yourself, it's no coincidence that everybody's really sad, because when you do that, you don't get the results that you intended.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right. So we are going to get right into this. We are not going to keep you all long today. We just had to get on and talk about this Andrew Tate, Piers Morgan interview. So ladies, I know you all have watched it. Before we really dig into the details, what are your overall thoughts? I'll start with you, Shelly.
Andrew Tate is a big, overly stimulated testosterone bully.
All right. What about you, Crystal?
I think he is the result of feminism in America.
All right. Yana?
I think he's hiding a lot. I'm not sure what it is, but there's a lot he's not saying.
Okay. All right. And me, I thought this was the most telling interview he's done. I will say that. I thought this was the most telling interview, and he's not as strong as I thought he was. That's what I came out of it with. He's not as strong. So we're going to dig right into it. I want to start off with this first clip. This clip here is when he started talking about his idea of relationships. Piers asked him to kind of expand on a tweet that he sent out where he talks about his idea of what he thinks a man should do for a woman. Take a look here. Okay.
Presenting adults, and everybody can make their own personal decisions.
Okay, fair enough. Why would I be working so hard, you say, to have hundreds of millions for my woman to waste her life enslaved for pennies? No, I will give you a life you can never, ever afford. Private jets, five-star hotels, new cars, endless spending money and diamonds. You will be rich because you're praying for me every day and protecting my spirit. I work in the physical world. She works in the spirit realm. Women shouldn't have to work because being a good partner is a full-time job for a woman. Just to look good. All the beauty treatments are time intensive. Not about money, it takes a lot of time. Just to train every day and stay in fantastic shape. Shop to look amazing next to me. I know there are some men who do 100 times more than this on a daily basis, but women are not as organized as men. And achieving anything significant causes them huge amounts of stress. Yeah. They need to have huge sections of their day empty to waste, or they will have a mental breakdown. Sure. And do you want a woman who's stressed and angry after the commute, unshaven and exhausted?
Unshaven.
Or do you want a Barbie doll who's really smiling and saying thank you because she did her nails and bought you Prada that day? As a man, unless you're a loser, you're already filthy rich, right? You can get endless sex anyway. Girls are easy. So what can a girl give you? Happiness, vibes, always smiling. Take the edge off a stressful life. Can she always be happy if she's been working all day? No. Just to wake up at 11, gym till 1, one appointment, and some shopping. Dress beautiful by 7 p.m. You to finish working and tell you how strong you are. No matter how pissed off you are, just to always be laughing and smiling and writing little notes about how you're perfect. And just to be playful and funny. She can't do that if she has a job. So your job is being my girlfriend, and now you're a millionaire. Congratulations. Behave and aim for the promotion to wife.
Wow.
Boom. All right. Okay, so behave and aim for the promotion to wife.
He said what he said.
All right. So do you agree? I want to start with you, Shelly. Is this what women, is this the ideal?
It's a fantasy. Number one, it's a fantasy. And although some parts of what Andrew Tate was saying, that there's always some parts that are okay, or I guess you would say normal or rational. But what he doesn't want a woman, he wants a Barbie doll.
Okay. I want to get your thoughts on this, Crystal. You agree, disagree? You think what he's saying is what people need to aspire to?
Okay, so we need to put what he says into context. Context, because he is an entertainer. He is a social media guru. So he is going to have, and he even said it in the interview. He was like, I did a lot of it and said a lot of it for comedic effect. We do that. We do that here. But what I will say is,
he did say he said it was sarcasm, but he said that he was true.
Because it is true. A lot of the world, unfortunately, that we call fantasy, this is where I disagree with you, Shelly, is we're calling it a fantasy, but maybe that is how it was designed. A lot of what he said is so true. It is very hard for women to kind of be the Barbie doll that men want them to be, especially working a job. So maybe God, even in the garden, said, Adam, work. Now, does it mean that should be that's ideal? He even specifically said, hey, I don't mean to abuse a woman. He was just being funny and being macho. And
the problem with that, Crystal, is that, again, some of what he said is good. It's reasonable.
Before you go and say, I want to get Yana in on this.
Okay.
I want, if you could respond to what Crystal said, is the ideal for women to be like Barbies?
No, I think it depends on the man and not every man is the same. And the issue that I have with Andrew Tate is that he kind of lumps all men into one big lump, and that they all want the same things. They all should behave the same way. He's obsessed with this hyper masculinity that, in my opinion, is actually not attractive. I don't find that attractive. And he thinks that's what every woman finds attractive too. So I don't like his very, very binary approach to humanity in general.
Right. Well, what I wanted to say to Crystal is that, again, some of what he said, I can understand. I think, many men have these fantasies of women, and women want to be beautiful. Most women want to be beautiful. Again, yes. whatever that means.
Unshaven and beautiful.
Whatever that means for you and your mate, your husband, your partner, whomever, right?
Ready to go.
He's consistent. He's consistent with these views, right? And now I will be honest. When he first came out, when I first learned of Andrew Tate, I thought, okay, yeah, I can see this. We need this masculinity for men. Men are missing a lot of that these days. But I agree with Yana. He is overly hyper masculine to the point where he does border on the abusive side of the spectrum.
Well, I think okay. Go ahead, you go, KJ.
I'll ask you, Crystal, because Piers said this is misogynistic. He said that these views are misogynistic. What are your thoughts there?
Misogynistic is the same thing as racism. What is that? Like, he's saying that, oh, you're misogynistic, you don't like women. That is not saying that he doesn't like women. That is saying his ideal woman, because and there's very specific words that he said. He said, unless you are a loser, you're a millionaire. What can a woman give you besides to be happy and to be beautiful? And a lot of women want somebody that they trust to take care of them. I think we don't talk enough about that. And honestly, Yana, I hear what you're saying, but men are not very different. There is a statistic that came out that said 53% of African American males are single with no kids. There's also a statistic that said 2/3 of males, and I think Judge Joe Brown said 2/3 of males are virgins now these days, can't get a piece of sex to save their lives. Why? Because men are not meeting the goal, and they don't have an Andrew Tate saying, hey, get rich, get smart, get strong, and you will get everything that you wish.
But Crystal, first of all, only about 1% of men are at the level of income that Andrew Tate is. So most of those women, the single statistics, maybe that also has something to do with the expectations of the women who are wanting the 1% that they're not going to get. So this standard that he's setting is not attainable, or even the norm, if you will, for the most of the population of men that he thinks he's talking to.
But who says they're supposed to be norm? And why is the expectation considered high? Because honestly,
because the most men are not going to be millionaires like that. The 1% they're not.
And I don't think that he's saying that most men are going to be millionaires, but a lot of men now are losers, and we don't talk about that. They are invisible. Invisible. A girl can't get a girl to say hi.
So what makes a loser, though? What makes a man a loser?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I want to get Yana in here to respond to that. Are most men losers if they don't subscribe to what Tate is saying, or at least try to obtain that?
Well, I think for a man not to be a loser, he has to be a productive member of society.
Exactly.
So that is what is attractive, and not necessarily that that attitude that Andrew Tate has. Like, I've watched his interviews, and every time he sounds so angry and so on defense. I'm sorry, to me, he does not sound confident. It sounds like he's hiding some kind of trauma, something that he is not okay with. Whatever happened to him, maybe it's with his parents. Maybe it's actually he doesn't understand women. He cannot really connect with a woman, with a human being on a spiritual, on a psychological level. That's what I sense from him. I don't think he is attractive in any sense. Like, I do not see how, like, a man who is attractive is yes, he's a provider. Yes, he cares about his community, his country. He is supportive. But at the same time, he has like the understanding of the femininity, I guess. He might even have some, soft side to him. Like, that is what's attractive, where a person is multidimensional and not like this, just muscles. And
he sets up unrealistic, I guess, expectations for many men. And maybe that's partly why those 53% of men that you're talking about, Crystal, don't have someone, because they're trying to attain something like the Andrew Tate types are putting out there that is really not going to be for most men who live under the normal part of the bell curve.
Well, I was just going to add that he lacks authenticity, in my opinion. And I think those men who are maybe struggling in relationships is because they're afraid to be authentic. They're afraid to just speak. Because when I was dating, the guys who would like pretend to be something, like, that was least attractive. And the guys who were just honest and normal, those are the most attractive.
But I'm going to have him, because in this next clip, Tate responds to some of Piers and other people's criticisms. So take a look here.
Absolutely. So what I'm saying is, I am a man. My life is stressful. My life is pain. I go to jail. I suffer. I have to deal with making money. I have constant, endless headache. I do all of that so I can give you everything, but then I get to have you. Your job is to be happy. I want you to smile. I want you to look your best and feel your best all of the time. If I'm a misogynist for saying that I go through so much pain so that we can be financially secure, so I hope the woman I care about does not have to work a job. If that makes me a bad person, then so be it. Because
that doesn't make you a bad person.
In every single realm, I take care of her physical safety. I take care of her financial security. That is my job as a man. And if more men acted like me, you will see that the world will be a happier and better place. The women.
Period.
That in and of itself is fine. That in and of itself is fine.
So you were okay with him saying, basically he was saying he provides, you behave, you nurture, and things like that. That's all right.
Yeah, what he was describing was what we call a traditional, even a conservative. Maybe the woman is a homemaker. That's what he was describing. Now, all the little detail parts that can they can be nuanced out of the way, but in general, that's fine if that's what he wants. The problem is that he thinks he sets up again even a higher standard than that. No woman is going to look good all day, or whatever. No, she's not. Especially when you have young children running around, even a homemaker. You're not going to do it. Now, I appreciate that he wants to be the provider and the protector. I get all of that. That's fine. That's fine. That's beautiful. But his expectations, even beyond that for this woman, that's not going to happen.
But he didn't say that. He literally said, get dressed by 7 so we can go out and be on our arm. And then he was also talking in the framework as a girlfriend. Now, what he did say, and I think people don't understand, is that men have stressful lives. I actually had this conversation with someone offline, and I was talking. Men don't walk around and people don't compliment men. They don't say, "Oh my God, you look so pretty. Oh my God, you're having a good day." No, nobody gives a crap about men. Their lives are hard, and that's just the truth. Especially if you're a decent member of society and you're not sitting on the corner and sitting on the block. It is hard. I worked at a organization where men were doing trash and men were doing floors, and they couldn't get a girl to say hi if they freaking threw her $1 million. It is hard. And so what he's saying is men come home and the least that you can do is smile and be happy and be kind and ask me if I want some water and ask me. I don't think we understand why a grown man leaves his wife and 3 kids for a 19-year-old. And until we do, this is always going to be a problem.
I hear you, Crystal, but that's not most of the men who do that. Now, again, we're talking about 2 extremes. Are there people who do that? Absolutely. But what he is describing this, it's an extreme or an ideal, but he's applying it to most of society, and it's not going to happen.
It's absolutely extreme.
I don't think he's applying it to most of society.
Absolutely extreme, and
ideal.
And I have heard this messaging, and from what I understand, he's a Muslim now. So I heard this messaging from Muslim preachers is that, my friends who are Muslim, and they were listening to them, and they were saying, oh, they told us that in the morning when you wake up, you have to do your makeup and put on perfume, or do that before your husband gets home. And that's literally what they're taught. So, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. If that's what you want to do, if that's sure, that is you're showing your appreciation for your husband. But at the same time, that is a very simplistic view of a role of a woman in the family. And in fact, conservative women, in this country, Christian women, they were doing more than just staying home and taking care of their husband and children. They were doing volunteer work, helping the homeless, the orphans. It's not like we have this that's being a productive member of society, is that you do get involved in other things.
Exactly. He wants a Stepford wife.
That's
not
what he
said. That's what he wants.
He said, if my wife chooses to work, and he specific. I don't understand why we are ignoring the parts where he's saying if she chooses to do something, but she should not have to. And I agree with that. I agree.
But she can have other feelings. If he comes home and she's not happy because of something, she shouldn't be forced to smile.
Exactly, like a Stepford wife.
Where are y'all getting that?
He said that.
He did not say if I come home that she should be forced to be happy.
It sounds to me that he feels like that, and this is a question for you all too, that men are the more important part of the relationship and society. Their jobs are much harder and their jobs are much more important. Women, on the other hand, are sort of like an add-on, and the things that they do are not as important, so that they don't have to, they shouldn't have an attitude.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said. He literally said it is hard for women to raise children, to take care of a household, come home, be beautiful, be shaven, as you like to say, and work a job. That's all he said.
I'm not talking about the work job. I'm not talking about that.
That's true, y'all. Y'all know it's true.
No. But what if she does doesn't
We're
have
not
a
saying
job.
that that's not true. I'm saying, well, at least I'm saying this standard that he had, and it's not just with this one clip, the clips that we're showing. You again, like you said, look at the whole thing. This is his attitude or his mantra from many of his videos, not just this interview. So again, the whole context, and I have to keep in mind also, I'd like to say he is a product of his time. He's also relatively young. He's, I think, 35 or whatever. So he's in his quote unquote prime, if you will, right? So again, therein, to me at least, lies part of the arrogance, part of the lack of wisdom, like compared to Piers Morgan, who's at the other end of his life. Piers Morgan has raised his family. He's been married for X number of years. What I'm saying is that he doesn't have the experience of time and wisdom. He only has what he has right now. And again, largely because of social media.
All right, let's take the next part. Let's talk about the next part. Take a look here.
There is a difference, but I would argue, Piers, in the happiest relationships, it's a traditionally masculine role in which the man plays and provides. The female is traditionally feminine. The man is the head of the house, not in an abusive way, doesn't beat her up. I'm talking about the man being the head of the household, like I would like to believe you're the head of your household. And he comes along and says what happens and what doesn't happen because he's the man of the house.
No, that's not. That's actually not how most households operate now.
Well, then it sounds like we understand why the entire world's a mess. Because only 10 years ago, that's exactly how the households were operated. There was a man of the house, and now we have no longer any clear defined roles. There's no longer a man of the house. You want to talk about knife crime, kids doing drugs, the crime rate, all of these problems. You want to talk about all of the societal ills we face. Perhaps it's because we don't have any men in the house anymore. Perhaps we need to bring the man of the house back. And the man of the house will come along and be a disciplinarian, and he will make the set rules and the creeds of that house. He will say, within this household, we don't take drugs. That stands for the woman I am with.
Who disagrees with that?
Nobody
who disagrees with that part?
This is my house, and I'm the man of the house. So it sounds to me like we need to bring it back, sir.
Yeah, listen,
Period.
We say that too, that men need to be in the house. We talk about that too.
Right.
So
Where are they?
with that part.
So
my issue, KJ, is sometimes I feel like we're doing the same thing that people do to President 45. We don't like the way he said it. Can he say it nicer? I mean, he seems so arrogant. He is saying the truth, and the truth doesn't care how you say it.
I don't think it's about how he says it. I think it's about the prescription that he provides to get to these main idea thematic statements. I mean, you heard what he said. So the man sets the rules and creeds of the house. Again, and he's not the only one who says this type of stuff. You look at people like Jordan Peterson. He says something similar, but the nuances between the two are pretty big, are pretty large. Because the way Tate says it, it's like the woman is pretty much nothing. She's just she's just there
She's just there as an accessory.
Right, as an accessory, and I don't agree with that part. I mean, I think what he said about man is head of the house. Of course, we all agree with that. But I mean, it sounds like to me that he's saying the man is the head of the house, and basically the woman has no type of opinion and should not even say anything to if he says it, that's the way it goes.
Right. And I mean, that even in traditional homes, like that's not really the case. I mean, yes, a man's supposed to be, what he's saying, I agree that a man is supposed to provide. And if he provides, then he has a lot of say. So women have to be respectful of that. And people should be listening to each other in the household. I guess, I mean, where are those men? I feel like the way that he brings it up is like it's just because it's a man. If he said yes, the person who puts a lot of responsibility and builds a home should be respected, I understand. I mean, just I guess from my experience, not every man is supposed to be listened to just because he's a man.
Yeah, but
when I say that,
Crystal, can you respond to that? Is that the case where every man, just because they say something, we're supposed to agree or go or abide by it?
You're asking me?
Right. What Yana said.
He never said that everything that I say or women's opinion doesn't mean anything. He did not say that. He said that the man should be the disciplinarian in the household. Y'all don't like the way he said it, but he is the response to feminism. The reason why he's saying it the way he's saying, because we for so long say men are stupid, mom's the boss, men can't find their shoes, they're idiots. We say that stuff, and then you get mad because he insinuates that men should be the boss. He never said women are stupid, women are this, women are that in that interview. He has.
So can I say to that what I said earlier? Andrew Tate is a product of his time. He's an extreme response to another extreme on the end. So again, he doesn't provide the balance, and neither do the feminists that you're talking about either. They are the extremes. Whereas again, the norm is all out of balance. So to respond, using him as the response to what should be normal is not going to help either. And back in the the 50s or 60s time, look at some of the old movies. Many of those women, like the Ozzie and Harriets and Father Knows Best, they were homemakers, but they also had an equal say in how to run the house. And one of the things I think we do, even as women, I think we do this, even as conservative women, I think we downplay the importance or the relevance, I would say, of women who choose to be homemakers.
Yes.
We look at them, and say, oh, they just stay home, or they got much time. We do that to ourselves as well. Whereas if you're a homemaker, or if you're a working mother outside the home and your husband works, of course, they're all relevant. They all provide something different. Is it the same? No, but they all provide something to the importance of those children, that relationship, and that household, that family.
Let me ask you this. So, we all live in Maryland, in and around Baltimore City, which is, a major city. Maryland, I believe, used to be one of the state had one of the highest standards of living, and when you compare it across the country. So is it even realistic to have a situation like Andrew Tate pushes as normal, where you only have one income coming in a house, you have multiple children? Is this even realistic for something like this to even come about? And I'll start with you, Shelley.
So there are, and I don't know the percentages, but first of all, there's a movement for homeschooling, which implies at least one parent is going to be home. Now, traditionally, it was the mom. However that works out now, it can vary. But there are many families, they tend to be Orthodox, very traditionally religious families that will have one parent home on a very modest income, however many kids. So I'm not saying that it cannot be done. I don't have specific numbers right now, but there are plenty of people who have a mom at home traditionally, father works outside, and they don't make as much money maybe as we make right now. So it can be done. The problem is that our society does not value that. Yes. As a way for families to have one person home. Look at our children. Children are put in daycare, damn it, from the time they're not even a month old. So these are all impact. These are all inputs into the system, pros and cons that have an impact. And I'm saying we as conservative women, we do a disservice when we poo-poo women who choose to stay home with their children as well.
I want to get your input on this, Yana. Is this something realistic? The lifestyle that Tate prescribes, where we are in Maryland, Baltimore City, many urban cities, standard of living is very high. A cost of living, I should say, is very high. Is this something that's even attainable, one income household?
I think it would be very difficult. I think a woman should, at least in our area, work part-time. I mean, it depends, of course, on how much the husband makes, but generally speaking, I think, we are forced to work in our society and the needs that we have. And right now the cost of living is rising. So I think it is very difficult, but ideally a woman should strive to be home more. So maybe if she can take a job that is not that demanding and maybe work from home or work part-time, because children will benefit from that.
I agree.
And because I see children, and I think the issue one of the reasons why we have a problem in education is because these kids, they barely see their parents, and there's nobody there to help them when they need help with their studies. And I think traditionally somebody was home to make sure that they're on task. And right now we do not have that in most families, and I think it is hurting children.
I want to get your thoughts on this, Crystal. Is this attainable in the market that we're in the society at the end that we're in, and the cost of living, to have just one income in the household?
Yeah, it's attainable, but as they stated, it's not without cost and it's not without sacrifice. I think us in our community, especially in the Maryland area, or even in, like, we have to get to the point where our children are the very absolute most important thing in our world. And so being there to be home and being there to be happy for our husband should be I think that that's a good goal. I'm not going to say it should be a goal, because some women have chosen to work. But I think we all can agree that when we're working these demanding jobs, like, more women are more educated. They're all going to get their masters, all to get more money, while their kids is out here robbing people, and the kids is out here in the streets, and they're sacrificing their kids on the altar of stuff. And you want to live in the best neighborhood, and you want to drive the best cars. And honestly, there's going to be time for that. If we take our families and put them back in focus and rear our children the right way, then sis, go ahead and get that job. Go ahead and get that car. Go ahead and get that. But make sure you handle your family first. It is very attainable with the right mindset.
Now, we talked about kids, and they did mention this in the Piers Morgan interview as well, where Piers, spoke about, is Andrew Tate the best spokesperson model for teenagers, for boys, for young men? Is he believe that he is? I want to get your thoughts first, Crystal.
Not at all. And I think, honestly, like, I don't agree with everything that he says, but y'all gotta admit that it's entertaining. And I think that that's his role. He doesn't have his videos out there saying, hey, 15-year-old boy, look at me. It's just one of the worlds that we live in, right? And I don't think that, just like anybody who has videos of sexual nature, just as they have rappers out there with guns and drugs, I don't think that those people are the best. It's just what we live in. But if I had to choose a role model that is Tate or Young Jeezy or Lil Wayne, like, I would choose Tate any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on this, Yana. Is Tate's the role model or spokesperson that we need to, send his tapes to his YouTube videos to young teenagers, young men? Should they be focusing on his message and him as an individual?
I mean, I think I see him as a teenager. Like, when he talks, he reminds me of a teenager who does not have much experience with real relationships. And so I can see why he's so appealing to teenage audience. And he has this idealistic perspective about how a relationship should be. And we can't really stop. I agree with Crystal that he's probably a better choice than some other influencers that are out there. I don't even know who they are, but they're horrible. And so so I don't know. He's not the best for sure, because he's not wise. He got an idea, he has a message that he's pushing, but he lacks wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same question to you, Shelly. Is he the role model we need for young boys or teenagers?
Well, this comes to mind, Crystal, to your point, you said he's better than Nas X or whomever. On a spectrum, he's better than some, and he may not be better than others. So that's just called life, number one. Mm-hmm. Again, everything he says, some things are good, I agree with. However, but this is what I would answer to your question, KJ, is that if some young boys are looking to him for a role model, my first question would be, where are the real men in their lives? Absolutely. How come those men are not directly impacting these boys, young boys, to say, oh, well, Andrew Tate, he's kind of a fluke, whatever. Because if you have real men who are providing, productive, hardworking, whatever that looks like, and you are investing in, whether it's your son, your nephew, maybe your neighbor's son or whatever, to show them what real men are, then they're not going to have that need and that longing to go and fill it with the Andrew Tate types of the world.
Yeah. I follow him. He like I said, a lot of it is entertaining, but he has class called the War Room, where he teaches young boys not to be millionaires, but to be as strong, as physically strong as possible, because you're gonna need to be. He teaches them to be as wealthy as possible, as you can be. Like you said, everybody's not gonna be a millionaire, but there is no reason that some of these black boys should be living in their baby mama's Section 8 apartment and waiting on her food stamps. That's what we have, you guys. And so Andrew Tate comes around, and yeah, he doesn't say it probably in the most eloquent way, but we have a problem in this country that a lot of men are living off the backs of their women and then wondering why their women don't respect them. Like,
I hear what you're saying, Crystal, but again, I mean, as far as young boys, I would ask, and look, well, where is do you have at least one important man that you have connected with, bonded with, that mentor, whatever. Again, uncle, father, next door neighbor. That's what I would start with, because if you're looking to Andrew Tate as your role model between here and Andrew Tate, wherever he is on social media, there are a lot of men that could be fulfilling and filling that role in your life.
Look what we have here. LM, he says Tate is saving men from predatory women.
Big facts. That big facts.
No,
predatory. How are these women predatory?
These women are predatory because, like, there's a reason, you guys, that women that all the women are going after the 1% of man, right? And the men are like taking it, but the poor guy on the street don't know what's going on. Like, why he's not getting a girl. He's telling you, bro, you can have your pick of the litter if you become your best self. And honestly, women don't want them to become the best self, because then look, like the pendulum has swung so far where they were beating us, calling us dogs and all of that type of stuff. And I think what Shelly said is in the middle. I guess that's what he meant by like predatory women. I really do believe that.
Shelly, what are your thoughts? Are women predatory? Is Tate saving men from predatory women?
No, in some ways, I think he's setting up men to be the predators.
That's what you said it better than I did.
No, to predate and be predatory towards women. Right. In some ways, I think he's setting up men to be the abuser in some of the things he puts out there.
Right. I mean, there has to be a balance. Again, I agree with some things that he says, and what Crystal said as well. It's just he is one-dimensional, and we're not sure how the 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds are taking this. And I mean, he's not the worst out there, and we just have to be careful with this kind of one-sided messaging.
And women, we don't go for the regular guy. We don't like if anything, I think he's helping men, and he's like
who is the regular guy? Who is this regular guy? These losers you're talking about?
I didn't say. You said regular guys are losers. I didn't say.
You said earlier. You said the men are losers.
What I'm telling you is regular guy. What I'm telling you is there's a reason that 12-year-old girls, and this is going to probably there's a reason that 12-year-old girls are going after boyfriends that are 25. Why? Because they have money. Because they look strong. They don't look at the 15-year-old boy and say, "Oh, I want him." We are naturally drawn to men who are strong.
Well, somebody said I love masculine. Oh no.
Even to our detriment, we get with these guys like Andrew Tate who are
women ride with men toxic masculinity.
Well, that's exactly what Shelly was saying, is that these guys will listen to Andrew Tate and behave all tough and strong, and then these girls will get attracted to them, and then they end up abusing these girls.
That happens all the time. That's not Andrew Tate. That's not y'all.
No, Crystal, I think I know what you're saying, but you're right. That's a different conversation we need to have. We're not gonna have time to. I think I understand what you're saying. There's always a segment, particularly with women, young girls, as we are developing. We do want that strong man. Why? Because we know there's something about being protected with that. But what Andrew Tate, to me, some of what he says, or maybe a lot of it, it's on the extreme where it goes to the abusive level. You can be masculine, but overly masculine and overly, again, testosterone stimulated can be abusive. Women can be bad and good as well on the other end. All I'm saying is that the balance is off. And these normal people, I don't agree with you, Crystal, when you say a lot of these men are losers or right. I don't agree, because I think most people live under the normal part of the bell curve, and that's who we're going to interact with. Whoever.
I didn't say
And
normal men are losers.
the thing to remember that marriage is forever. So these things, these superficial things, this guy is not always going to be this macho, wonderfully looking
That's why I
guy.
say he's only
And
35.
the woman is not always going to be perfectly, with the perfect body forever. It's the connection that is the most important. When you're 80 years old, you have to still appreciate each other. That's what we should be going for, and not these superficialities.
That's what I said. He's 35. He's
not putting words in the man's mouth. He didn't say that you shouldn't love each other when you don't feel that way.
He never mentions love.
Y'all literally.
I never heard him mention love either. He did say, however, that he believes in open relationships. So he does believe that he should be able to have as many women within the relationship as he likes. And to me, it's again, I love a strong man. I have always loved a strong man.
Exactly.
But strength is not always, especially in men, aggressive.
He says that. He says that.
But he is aggressive. He is the picture in the dictionary of an aggressive man. The men that I know that are confident, that are strong, they display this without having to say a word.
And without having this defensive attitude.
He actually says, and I follow him a lot, so we only pick in the negative. He actually says that the strong men that y'all think are strong are he said those are actually the weakest men. He said men are able to control their emotions. Men protect women and children. He said men love one wife. He said they do mess up, but he said, I believe that you should just have one.
He believes in multiple wives.
He said multiple girlfriends.
I'm telling you.
So he's a liar. He says whatever it is to get attention.
He said in this interview that he had multiple women.
Yeah.
He said
he's
that
a
he
liar
would
and
not
a grifter.
disclose.
He's just trying to get attention, make money however he can.
Possibly, y'all. Now, I don't disagree.
Bottom line, again, I'm going to stick to him being 35.
And people are making him a prophet.
I agree, Shelly. But what I don't want to do is that we take away we throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Okay,
he is an entertainer. He's an entertainer.
Which one is it? And this was actually proposed in the interview as well. And Piers did a good job.
I can't stand Piers.
He did a good job.
On that, he said, he was like, "What are you talking? Do you believe what you say? Or are you being sarcastic? Sarcastic generally means it's not true. You're being
generally
making
You said generally. I can say something sarcastic. You ever heard there's truth in jest? And there's a lot of people that say things in jest, but it's truthful. And that's what he did. That's what he did. There's truth in jest. Y'all know that.
Well, what he said, the things he said were true. He said he believed everything.
That's why he's dangerous.
He said with a hint of sarcasm. He said with a hint of sarcasm. I say true things all the time. Shelly, I know you ain't looking like that. You say stuff all the time.
I understand sarcasm, but I think he believes what he says.
Yes.
Okay.
So what he said.
I'm sorry, he's sociopathic.
I don't think he was lying. I think he's saying
one thing one day and then something different another day. He's sociopathic. He's very distrustful of this man. He should not be anybody's husband. And if he is somebody's husband, I would like her to come on some interview and explain what kind of person he is, because I don't trust him one bit. I think the whole thing is an act. I think he might actually be gay. I don't know. I question this man.
He has several babies, and not a single one of his women have come out and said they don't like it.
Well, let me say this.
You remember women didn't speak out against him either for a long time.
I was going to say the same thing, KJ.
Don't speak out.
Right. I was going to say, I'm not saying that he has abused his women, but the problem with what you're saying, Crystal, is that most of the time when women are being abused, they don't come right out and say it. And then if they do, what do we do? Women, they lied. They ain't say nothing all that time. Why they come? So either way, the women can't win. And if a woman did come out with him, she probably would not tell the whole story.
He's very manipulative. He will manipulate the information.
Or not. All I'm saying is that for this woman or his women to come out and say anything, no matter what they say or don't say, women are going to, why they saying it now? They ain't do all this stuff. It's a no-win situation.
I disagree.
That's actually I never thought about that way.
Women who come out after the man didn't do what they want them to do.
See?
Cassie and Diddy, somebody
See?
said,
See?
come back after 30 years
See?
of him paying your bills and paying your
See?
rent. All of a sudden, he's abusive. I'm abused.
See?
I didn't feel
See?
safe.
That's what I just said.
I didn't feel safe when he was handing me those $1 million bills. I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe.
That's what I just said.
Have several seats.
Heads I win, tails you lose. That's the kind of situation it is.
And it should be women, y'all want to be so strong and y'all want to be so independent. Okay, then be that. Do not take a man's money and don't take a man's benefits and then all of a sudden he's abusing you. I don't agree with that. Sorry.
All right. Well, we said we wouldn't keep you guys long. As you can see, we can go on and on. But we know everyone has to get back to their families. And as you can see, as we are women, we should be in the kitchen today. We should be cleaning, cooking, keeping ourselves beautiful.
We should be pregnant, getting knocked up in between and barefoot, right?
Yeah, fully shaven. Men only like to see newborn down there. Newborn baby. Down there.
Look, we should have a baby suckling at our breast and stirring the pots in one arm and with the baby on the other arm.
Pay my bills and you got it.
All right. Final thoughts, ladies. Final thoughts. What do you think? We didn't delve too much into his trial and things like that, but what do you think as far as what are we going to see next from Andrew Tate? Shelly.
Actually, I mean, if I didn't see much of him, that wouldn't be a problem for me.
Okay. Yana.
Same thing. I barely see him. He's never in my anything recommended to me. I don't see him anywhere. He's a non-factor to me.
Crystal.
I wish him the best. I think history will be kinder to him, and I think he'll be remembered for a lot of greatness a lot of great men that he encouraged to be that way.
I think he might be gay.
Okay. All right. Well, that wraps it up for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, this is Pop in Politics. We are live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. doing a special broadcast today, but we will be back next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Check us out. Like, share, and subscribe. Share this broadcast. We are an independent media, and each time you share, it does make our voice that much stronger, especially, as you guys who are Andrew Tate lovers, the Matrix is against us. So if you want to fight the Matrix, share, and subscribe. All right. Again, until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.